Whoa, are we live? I think we're live, guys. This is Larry Live, episode 0.5. I haven't done one of these in some time. Like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that. Um there's no consistency to this channel. There's no I know most people say you're supposed to do something at least like once a week if you're trying to grow your channel, but that's just not I don't know. I don't like the idea of like every Saturday there will be a program. Every Saturday you can count on me for 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. I don't know. That's just very boring. To me, a live is fun when you weren't expecting to see the person live. Um, I wasn't expecting to do it. And I don't know. I just have a couple of thoughts that I want to talk about, you know? And the fact of the matter is, nobody even watches these except like a handful of people. But I still do it because I like the idea of just having just like a semi-regular show here, okay? And the other thing I want to talk about is this. Let me get my coffee here, bro. I'm gonna stay for the one drink. My rule is that I stay for the one drink. So when this drink is over, that's when the show is over. Maybe it'll be an hour. Maybe it'll be half an hour. I don't know, but I'm going to stay for the one drink. Shout out to the one viewer. Hello. Thank you for watching. So I'm going to stay for the one drink. I just thought I would update you guys on what's going on. And I don't know. One of the reasons why I wanted to go live today is because something I've been thinking about recently is, because things are not going well, like in the world, in terms of the job situation, in terms of male, female dating scene stuff, I really think that, and this might sound funny or like weird, it might sound a bit queer, but what I'm trying to say here is if you're a guy, like if you're a dude, especially if you're a guy, the answer to all these things is not isolation. You should support each other. Check in on your friends. I'm not saying anything groundbreaking here, but check in on your friends. Who knows if your friend is going through a tougher time than you? It could be something that you weren't even expecting. But if you didn't check in, you wouldn't have known. So I think as times get rougher, like that's the new movement, I think. I was really thinking about this. Like if most guys are not getting married and they're not, most guys are not even dating, or they don't have like there's no upward trajectory for a lot of people anymore, like men especially. I think women are doing pretty well. But I think young men, and again, I know this sounds like kind of gay, but the new movement is like you need to support each other, look out for each other. Obviously, you can't really rely on people too much these days, because if you want something done, you might as well do it yourself. If you catch my drift, you can't depend on anyone. But what I'm saying is, for me, I'm the kind of guy that I will like isolate. I have a strong tendency to isolate and just not talk to anyone and drop off the face of the earth for a very long period of time. I will not respond to texts or pick up, or I won't even look at my phone for like 2 weeks. And I'll just walk in the forest and I'll focus on my nervous system instead. That guy Dr. K was talking about this recently. Pratyahara. Pratyahara. And I know this has been making waves in the news recently, is the concept of, and this is not my phrasing for it, but this is just what it is. It's called, people are calling it retard maxing. Now, I wouldn't agree with such strong language, and I feel like people need to be more specific with their phraseology. I don't like the way people, everything is maxing this and that, and everything is like, people jump to like the language of just like filth and foulness. Retard maxing. Listen, everything, you don't have to jump to the strongest word. You don't have to jump to like coarse language even, you know? My ears. Think about coarse language, you know, the phrase trash talk. Think about what that is saying, like language, what it says. Trash talk. Does that mean that my ears are garbage cans? Does that mean that I am becoming the trash if I'm consuming it? I just think people need to step back a little bit with the language, be more specific. So, yeah, the retard maxing. Not my phrasing, but how did I get started on that? I wanted to talk about oh yeah, I started talking about retreating into one's self and focusing on your nervous system. Yes, I do believe what people what people say, what people are intending to mean, like when they use phrases like retard maxing. I know Elisha on YouTube, he's gone viral recently because like tech billionaire CEOs have talked about the values of retard maxing. Nothing suspicious there when a tech billionaire CEO is telling you to not think. Nothing fishy there, guys. But anyway, what I wanted to say is what I think people mean is wu wei. The concept of wu wei and just going with the flow, not overthinking, and the Dr. K thing of Pratyahara. I don't know how to pronounce it, but just focusing on your inner senses instead of being overwhelmed with the world and the amount of choices that you have and all the options there are and this, that, and the other. Really, the times when I've been forced to isolate, it's because it's simply that I'm forced to isolate. Um I can no longer take in any more sensory input. It stresses me out and I just have to go away for a while. But going back to what I was talking about before, the the concept of male support, man support. I know, it sounds gayer than it is. But the reason why I'm talking about this stuff is because recently I noticed like there's been a couple of people where they'll reach out to me and they're clearly going through a tough time, but I'm always surprised that this is like an option for them because for me, I have the tendency to do what I just said. I'll go in the forest, I'll just shut down completely. But I do think there is a value in checking up on each other and the community. And, you know, that's why I use the descriptor on this live. I said, I'm checking in on the community. I haven't done a live in a very long time. I think 2 weeks, a week or something like that, but there's a value to it. The other day, I reached out to a friend on I use my PlayStation 4 as a DVD player. So sometimes I will watch movies on the PlayStation 4. But I noticed there was like a whole bunch of people that I added from like 2017 when I first got the PlayStation. These are former friends from, you know, school and whatnot. So anyway, I was watching a movie one night recently and I was thinking to myself, why don't I just send a message to one of these people just to see what would happen, you know? Like I wasn't expecting to hear back from any of them because I don't know who still uses PlayStation anymore. But so I sent this message to a guy I know from my school days, and sure enough, he got back to me and we started talking. But that's what I mean about you don't have to isolate. Now, at the same time, don't bother other people with your problems either because the average person is not a therapist. You can't just like bother everyone. But at the same time, you can't isolate. You can't shut down. It's bad for the health. So I think moving forward, that's the movement. As the world shuts down, as the job situation is terrible, as everything gets worse and worse, don't don't neglect the community, the concept of the community. And it's funny to say all this because we have phones and shit. We have phones and stuff. And we've never been more isolated and disconnected than ever before. So it doesn't make any sense. It makes zero sense to me. Um yeah. As for my sugar update, today is, let me check my sugar update. It's today would have been day 31. I'm well past the month mark. But I will say this. The weather where I live has been heating up lately a little bit. So I went and I got a McFlurry, which has 48 grams of sugar. I checked. The size of the McFlurry that I got has 48 grams of sugar. Now, I don't know if you remember this, but my rule for myself was don't go over 35 grams of sugar. And there was another day recently where I went to go get a box of donuts. A donut place opened up near me. Why is it that whenever you're having a diet or a change in your lifestyle or something like that, a new donut shop will open? Or the seasons will change and McDonald's will announce, hey, the ice cream cones are $1 now. Make of that what you will, guy, on a sugar diet. So those are 2 times I slipped up recently, but for the most part, I've been doing pretty good. I pretty much conquered sugar. I'm under like I'm under like 20 grams of sugar every day. It's just that I don't see it in my future that I'm going to quit eating donuts anytime soon. And similarly, coffee. Look at this. Big ass jug of iced coffee. I hate when people are quitting coffee and they have to tell you like I've been off coffee for like I've been off coffee for a month now, 2 months now. Yeah, that's why you suck. You're telling me the reasons why you're a loser. People should just drink coffee without any rules. Just drink coffee without any rules. The only rule that you need is just not after 6, dude, or not after 5. If you're still tired when it's time to go to bed, I don't think it's the fault of the coffee. It's because you weren't active enough in the daytime. So that's where I'm at with the sugar rule. I'm still consistently keeping it under 35 grams of sugar. But there's a couple days here and there where I get ice cream and get donuts. And I think my ratios are pretty good now. If I have 5 days of good, healthy eating and 2 days where I eat like shit, that's not a big deal. That's not really that big of a deal because I think diabetes and like bad health problems, you get health issues from cumulative damage, which means like day to day to day to day to day to day to day bad choices. If I'm only making bad choices on, like, let's say Saturday and Sunday, that's not that bad, is it? Obviously, it's not good either, but it ain't too bad compared to before where I was completely undisciplined. You know, I would have something sweet for breakfast, like with breakfast, toast with jam, which counts as dessert, and then, throughout the day, maybe I'll get something, another sweet treat, and then another sweet treat, and then that 7 days a week. That's not good. Not good for the liver. But now, 5 days healthy, 2 days eating terribly. What's the harm? And the fact of the matter is, I'm simply too depressed with life to not allow myself any moments of pure, unabashed, unadulterated joy. Donuts and ice cream are just good, dude. For me, I don't have a weakness for just like crappy sugary items. Like, I'm not going to drink a can of soda in 2026. To me, that's a low quality sugary item because there was no thought involved in that. But a donut, somebody had to like make it. Ice cream, good quality ice cream, someone had to make it. So I'm still eating sugary stuff, but only quality sugar stuff. And 2 days a week. Anyway, so that's it. That's where I'm at there. Um yeah, I'm just too depressed to be disciplined about the few things in life that are giving me joy. Caffeine, sugar, movies. This is what life is all about, man. And plus it's summer. Things are not going well. Things are not going well for me. So I got to have a couple of moments of joy. Let me tell you what the job situation is like here in Canada right now. I know I made a video recently where I said, stop complaining that you can't find a job and fight for UBI. So I'm going to completely contradict myself here and I'm going to complain about how I can't find a job. The job situation in Canada is so bad that I don't think I've ever seen it this bad in my life. It's almost like we've reached Great Depression levels. We're at Great Depression levels in Canada here. Okay? Every day I come on YouTube, the homepage is just people that can't find a job in Canada. If you check Reddit, it's full of people that can't find a job. And I'm not talking about people complaining about how they can't find good jobs. I'm talking about people that they just want an entry level job, you know? Um I applied this is just an example how bad it is, okay? In February, I applied to be a census taker. All right? This is February. I got a call back. And I don't know if you know what a census taker is for people that are watching in other parts of the world. In Canada, we're doing a census, okay? So my job would have been to go to places and try to get the census from people who didn't submit their like info. So I'd have to go door to door. I'd have to get yelled at, presumably. It would not be a glamorous position by any means. But this is how bad things are, is that I can't find work in my field that I would actually like. So I was willing to compromise my position in life and take a job that I didn't actually want to do, which was the census taker, going around door to door, getting yelled at, being face to face with a man who is half naked, wearing a robe, a bathrobe with his belly, with his gut outside, with jizz on his stomach. And I'd have to be standing there. Hey, can you please submit your census information? We want to know your opinion. Guy that has fluids on his stomach. You should be in charge of telling us your opinion for the country. So anyway, Someone called me back and I had to go through this like half an hour interview, like a screening thing. And they were like, okay, great. So you're on a list of, potential people, whatever. So that was February. Okay. March, April, May. I think like it was late April, early May. I got another call from someone. This was on like a Thursday or a Friday, and they said tomorrow. What was it? Not tomorrow. Yeah. It was like they said something like, "Would you?" The questions were yes or no questions, right? So they were like, "Would you be able to start training tomorrow? Would you be able to come in for training on Sunday? Would you be able to start work Monday?" So my answer to all these questions were yes, 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 because I wanted the job, right? Um, and then after I spoke to that person, never heard back. And this is for a census job. It's not like a good job. In life, we have to take jobs that we don't want to do, okay? And I was more than prepared to take this job. I've done jobs before where I went door to door and people are not happy to see me. This is not something that like this is something that I have experience doing. So I don't know why I would not have been called back. It seemed like they were ready to give me the job, and then I don't know, due to their organization skills, whatever, just dead silence. Never heard back. And this is like the Thursday or Friday before the job was supposed to start on the Monday. And I just never heard anything. After I spoke to them in February for like half an hour, and then that call, the second call, it's a mess. So, what was I talking about? Oh, yeah. I've had jobs before where I went door to door. Not a big deal. It's stressful. It sucks, but I knew what I was prepared to do, you know. It's not like they would have scared me away. I remember I went door to door in the Niagara Falls region. I don't want to go into what I was doing, but I was going door to door for this company. I rang this doorbell. Must have been like 5 or 6 p.m. Excuse me. That's my AIDS flaring up. So I rang the doorbell of this one neighbor. It was like a suburban neighborhood in Niagara Falls, and this lady came out and she basically grilling me about like, what are you doing here? Why are you here? What is your purpose? Which is fine. I'm used to that. But then she gets out of the house and she was like looking to see, you know, other people around the neighborhood, if I'm like in cahoots with any of them. And then I'll never forget this. As I was walking away, I was like, it's no big deal. Like, you don't have to do whatever the reason why I was door to door. As I walked away, she looked to see where I went. So I was walking to my car. She stared at me getting into the car, and then she like wrote down my license plate because I think she thought I was some kind of a scammer. But that's an example of going door to door. I was prepared for the worst, okay? I've heard horrible stories about these jobs. I've heard that like, especially if you're, not a guy, if you're a woman and you're doing a door to door job, your safety isn't really protected. You're basically on your own. You might have a guy answering the door, inviting you in, and weird behavior like that. But I was prepared for all of this. But yeah, I don't know what happened. It was very disappointing because they made it seem like I was going to get the job. It's so annoying to like, not that I'm complaining that I have free time or whatever, but Don't don't make me like speak to you on the phone for half an hour and then call me back 2 or 3 months later and then speak to you again and get me like excited and be like the job's starting on Monday, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. Why do that if you're not going to give me the job? Like you're just wasting my time, you're wasting your own time. It sucks. And the other thing I've noticed recently about the job situation, now that I'm on this topic, is that I've noticed when I apply to a couple of jobs like online, and these are like legit websites. This might be a conspiracy theory tinfoil hat type of thing, but this is just something I've noticed, okay? I've noticed more and more like when I apply to certain jobs, the following day I will be inundated with like seemingly scammy calls. And what I mean by this is like the the amount of calls that I get will increase the next day and it'll be for stuff that has nothing to do with a job. Like it'll be just today I got a call um I think it was like 9 a.m. I got a call about something to do with Rogers and then a couple hours later, 11 a.m., I got a call for air duct cleaning services with a man on the phone that had a very thick ethnic accent that was just right out of like a movie or something, like a comedy movie from the early 2000s. This guy sounded very stereotypical. I'm not going to do my impression of the voice because I think Indian people are getting a lot of shade right now, but I don't want to kick a man when he's down. I don't want to kick a man while he's brown. But yeah, but I've noticed these types of calls have increased when I apply to jobs, and then the next day, one after the other is just nonsense calls. So that leads me to believe that these things are related. Like it's just fake, just fake job postings on legit websites. So if you're on like LinkedIn or something, you see a job that even you might think it looks legit, you hit apply. The next day, you're gonna have to speak to like some guy in a call center that's trying to, rip you off. So that's where I'm at recently. The jobs these days they're not good. They suck, bro. Um, Other than that, I've just been trying to enjoy what is left of my life. I will talk about some movies that I saw recently because when life is bad, that's all there is to do. I heard that quote, movies are bad so life doesn't have to be. Films, it's better for films to be bad so life doesn't have to be. I guess the idea there is that if you're locked in on movies, you don't have to worry about how bad your life has become. Um yeah, let's talk about a couple of movies I saw recently, okay? Speaking of the job situation and, you know, the economy, this, that, and the other. I saw I Love Boosters the other day. I thought that was a pretty good movie. Um, Now I will be. These will. This is not going to be spoiler free. So if you have not seen the movie, you should not watch the rest of this. And this goes for any movie that I speak about. I'm going to be spoiling everything. But I saw I Love Boosters and I thought it was great. I think I gave it like a 4 out of 5 on Letterboxd. Um, the only thing that I will say is that I don't know if the ending, I don't know if I really feel like that is possible in today's world. I used to think that, in 2020 and 2021, I had hope for the future, just a little bit. I had hope that people would, I don't want to say like start over, but it seems like that was an opportunity for us to have like a cultural reset, and there could have been a shift in the way we go about things. And I'm not going to lie to you. In 2020 and 2021, I flirted with communism. I flirted with the idea of communism. I know that might put me on some kind of right wing list, but I flirted with the concept of, I guess, communism. I'll just repeat it with the idea that we can all take care of each other. Like going back to what I was saying at the beginning of this video, is like the community, the value of checking up on each other and the community. Okay, I really thought, like, moving forward from 2020, I thought that like, and this is a valid this is like, I thought this was valid. I thought this is a real thing. I thought that a way to move forward in the future would be for everyone to collectively have a mass protest and opt out of, um I guess, capitalism. Just opt out of like doing labor for people that are just profiting off of you as a human. Like, you're getting 2 potatoes and a dill pickle an hour, and we're all fighting each other for these leftover dill pickles and potatoes an hour. So we're all scrounging. It's like Hunger Games. We're all fighting. It's dog eat dog for the one job that will pay 2 potatoes and 1 dill pickle an hour. It's not even like a good job that we're fighting for. We're fighting for scraps. We are abandoned dogs in a parking lot in a hot tropical country. We're thirsty. We're starving, and we're fighting for scraps, okay? Why don't we come together as dogs and fight the powers that be? So that was my thinking. In 2020 and 2021, I really thought that, like, you know, things are so bad for all of us. Common sense dictates, I mean, if we had any sense, common sense would, the sensible thing to do in this situation is stop fighting each other. Let's just have a shutdown. Let's have a capitalist shutdown, and we will support each other. No one will go hungry while we do this. We will have to take care of each other, and just we all refuse to work until things get better. Now, I have to admit, this is very idealistic, very stupid. I was in my late 20s. I think I was like 27, 28 when COVID happened. So this was my thinking at the time. Now I'm 34. I'm a little bit more grizzled, and the cultural reset did not happen that I was but going back to I love boosters and why I brought that up to begin with is that I don't know, I thought that everything that came before it, I was like, this is a great movie. I really like this. But then I thought when it got to the end, I was like, this would never happen. And the other thing is, like, I would be more interested in seeing, like, what happens when that doesn't happen. Do you know what I mean? Cuz that would mimic reality more. Cuz it seems like that's the path that we're choosing as a society, is that we're just going to keep fighting for these scraps. I'm going to be forced to apply for jobs that ghost me and don't want me after speaking to me on the phone multiple occasions. 2 separate times and ask me if I'm available to start on the Monday, and then I'm never hearing back. Instead of, you know, banding together. There's no it's I think class solidarity is how people say communism is good in theory. It's like class solidarity, it's like it's good in theory. But in practice, is anyone really gonna check up on their friends, you know, help the homeless guy on the sidewalk? It's not gonna happen. And so anyway, that's the one issue I have with I Love Boosters is that the ending, like it just wouldn't really happen. There's no class solidarity. People don't really care about each other, and we're just gonna continue to fight for scraps uh for these jobs that don't really exist, and things are gonna get worse and worse. So so there's that. But other than that, other than the way it ended up, I thought the movie was great. Very colorful. I really like how colorful the movie was. It seems like movies these days don't have that much color, and it's something that I really miss. I went to go see I Love Boosters based on the trailer. Like I know I was a fan of his previous movie, the call center movie, which I did have that job. Brown guy. Big surprise there. But I saw his first movie I saw this movie because mainly the color of the trailer just looked amazing and it did not disappoint. It's actually one of the most original movies I've seen in years, and I feel like you will see imagery in this movie that you have never seen before. So I would say that it's like a 4 out of 5 movie. But the only thing is like the last little bit of it. It's too idealistic, and I don't know. I just don't think that would happen. It's not happening. And I don't know, it hurts. It hurts to see something wrapped up that nicely. Maybe that's just the cynic in me. But there you go. Now let me move on to some other movies that I've watched recently. One Spoon of Chocolate. This was not that good of a movie. I'm not gonna lie to you. Maybe it would have been good at like 1 hour 30 or 140. But for some reason, this movie just didn't hit the way it should have hit. And I say this as a fan of blaxploitation, grindhouse, drive-in cinema. I've written a blaxploitation film myself. It's called Street Players. It's a love letter to blaxploitation cinema. Specifically the author, Donald Goins. You can look him up in your free time. I'm not going to get into the history there, but anyway, this movie should have been right up my alley, One Spoon of Chocolate, but I watched it and for some reason, I don't know, I just didn't like it because I feel like even for a grindhouse movie or like an action sort of movie, there has to be a certain level of believability. And to me, the movie, it just felt like even the racist characters just felt like caricatures. They had no depth to them that made them seem like real. So I don't know. There's just like it was a missed opportunity. However, the action scenes in that movie were pretty cool. I enjoyed that. But you got to wade through a lot of like crap to get to the kung fu and like the action stuff. All right. Excuse me. Star Wars Mandalorian. It's getting terrible reviews. Okay? I keep seeing people are like, "Oh, it's like a 2-hour episode of the show, but it's not like a movie. It doesn't really feel like a movie and I didn't like it." I've never seen the show because I'm an adult and I have things to do. I'm not gonna watch an 100 episode series about, like, a Star Wars show. I don't have time for that, but I'll watch the movie, and I did, and I have to say it was pretty fun. I like Baby Yoda. Baby Yoda is a cute little guy, and I'm sorry, I liked it. Okay, I liked it, and the action scenes are pretty dope. It's got some pretty good music, like the score. It's one of those movies where the score is just like you're watching it and you're just like, why did they choose this score for this movie? Like, it doesn't feel like a Star Wars score, but that sounds like a bad thing. But it actually turns out being pretty good because you're just like, why is this score so like funky? Like, it sounds like I wasn't expecting it, in a good way. So yeah, if you like to have a good time, just watch Star Wars. It's not essential, but The Mandalorian, dude, sick movie. And another movie I saw recently, Passenger. This movie was garbage. Not gonna lie to you. The trailer made it seem like it was a movie that takes place entirely at night on the road. So I was locked in. But let me tell you, you have to sit through a couple, like, I hate, maybe this is because I don't have a girlfriend and, things are not going well for me and blah, blah, blah. But I hate movies where you have to sit through a couple and their trials and tribulations. I didn't care about the people in the movie. I just wanted to see cool shit happening. And like, the movie isn't very long, but it feels longer than it is. That's a sign that the movie sucks. So, Passenger, that movie wasn't good, but you know which movie was good? And I'm not the first person to say it. It's a banger. Obsession is a good horror movie. I'm not going to lie. Now, there's part of me that I want to talk badly about the movie because the director is 26 years old and he has my dream job. Um, and his life is going better than I am. So there's part of me that wants to hate. I mean, he's living out my dream, my fantasy dream to be a movie director. Ever since I was a child, I wanted to be a movie director. And he's 26 and he gets to do it. But I'm stuck in my parents' basement hosting a live YouTube show that nobody watches. Getting ghosted from the Canadian job market. Anyway, so Obsession. It was a pretty good movie. I have not seen his found footage movie, that director, but I hear it's good. I want to watch it now. The thing about Obsession is that it's a very ballsy horror movie for 2026. I wasn't expecting it to go the areas that it went. I thought it was just going to be like neatly wrapped up. This happens, that happens, and the good guys win, and blah, blah, blah. But it goes to some pretty dark places. I'm not going to lie. Okay. We're coming up on an hour here almost. So I don't think I'm going to stay that long here. I'm just going to talk about a couple more movies that I saw. I did see recently there was the Top Gun anniversary. I went to go see Top Gun 1, and then I left the theater and sat in my car for half an hour and just meditated. And then I went back to the theater and saw Top Gun 2. So I saw them back to back. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Top Gun 1, it's not that great of a movie, okay? It's very overrated. It's it's nowhere near as good as what everyone says that it is, Everyone over a certain age always talks about Top Gun 1 is this, that, and the other. It's just amazing. When I was a kid, I remember my babysitter had the Top Gun 1 VHS. So for years now, I've always been like, what's so good about this movie? Why does everyone love Top Gun 1? That's how I'm going to refer to it now. Any movie with a sequel, you have to add 1. Top Gun 1. You never close your eyes anymore when you kiss my lips. And there's no tenderness like before in your fingertips. It makes me just feel like crying. But baby, yeah. Now I will say this. The thing about Top Gun 1 is that something you got to realize is that Tom Cruise wasn't a star before Top Gun 1 came out. Now, this is hard for some people to have a concept of, but Tom Cruise in my lifetime has always been a movie star. But a lot of people don't realize that this wasn't always the case. There was a period of time before Top Gun and after Top Gun. So, like, before the first Top Gun, he was like a rising star. But Top Gun 1 is what I guess made it concrete. That solidified it. Now, I'll be honest with you. Even though I didn't think that Top Gun 1 was like an amazing movie, I could see why he's like a star. Like why he leaves that movie and gets considered a star. Because it's like he had star power, all right? There's something about him in that movie where it's like he becomes Tom Cruise. Um I mean, some people will argue he was a star before, from Risky Business, whatever. But he was still like a boy, He's still in his socks, sliding around, and he wasn't really a full-on movie star. When you see Top Gun, you're like, he's with other dudes in the movie, and you're like, this isn't any of the other dudes' movie. It's a Tom Cruise movie. It's not Val Kilmer's movie. It's not Goose's movie. It's Maverick. That's what it's about, dude. And I will say this. I've heard the rumors for a very long time that Top Gun 1 is very gay, and nothing prepared me for how gay it actually was. It's a very gay movie. There was a part during the movie where I don't know if other countries do this, so I have to keep explaining. This is a Canadian phenomenon. But in Canada, when you watch a movie, there's like periodic checks that happen. Like, so it'll happen maybe 30 minutes into the movie or like 1 hour into a movie. The theater employee will walk in and they'll have like a slip of paper and they just like they write something on it. I guess they're writing all good or whatever their equivalent is. And then they check mark something and they put it in like a slip. And this is at the front of the movie theater. So there was a scene in this movie, Top Gun was so gay. The guys are just talking like this with their faces up to each other, just like when two people are angry and they're just like facing each other. It's like no space between them. So there was that. And then there's a part where they're just like all, taking showers together and they're like naked. The theater checker person, like this girl, it was like me. The theater had like me and like maybe like five other dudes. Five other dudes in the theater and me. And the theater checker, teenage girl age, she's like a teenager and she's doing her theater check. She walks in while all these dudes are taking a shower together. They're like half naked and they're just talking about, I don't know, flying and Goose, you got to do this and that and whatever. And anyway, I could see the awkwardness in the in her mind. Like she could pick up on it. She was usually they don't really pay much attention to what's happening on the screen, right? Just enough to do the theater check so that they can check mark that it was all good. But she walked in and she took a look at the clientele and then she looked at what was happening on the screen, just like dudes naked taking a shower. And she was like, she looked, I could tell that like she was enjoying what was happening. Like she looked for a little too long, but then she looked at us and then she was like, I could see the gears turning. She was like, is this movie gay? Like, is this gay porn playing at a suburban movie complex? And then even when it was time for her to leave, like she did the theater check, she put the slip in the thing. She did the check, she put the slip in the thing, and then she walked out halfway, but then she was like looking at the screen and she was like, how long is this gayness going to go on for? So there was that. And then I saw Top Gun 2 after. You know, a weird thing happened. Okay, so I sat down to watch Top Gun 2 after the first movie, right? So this is like they timed it. The movie theater timed it so there was like half an hour or something like after so you can go get drinks, take a piss break, do what you got to do. So I came back into the second movie just maybe to watch like 5 or 10 minutes of trailers. And oh, by the way, there's a trailer for the movie Digger that was really cool because they used all of Tom Cruise's movies like in his whole life. And then there's a thing that says like basically it's all leading up to this. And then they show the trailer for the new movie. But they use all his clips, like everything that he's ever done. Top Gun 1 and 2, Tropic Thunder even. Like they just basically wanted to make it seem like you've seen this guy in a million great movies. Now it's all leading up to this one. And then it was a trailer for the new movie. But anyway, so that's not the point of the story. The point of the story is I came in to watch Top Gun 2, and as I was sitting down, the guys behind me, the row behind me, you have to realize the movie theater only had like 5 people. Behind me is like a row of like 3 dudes that came together. This guy saw me sitting down. He was like, he put his hand out. He's like, "Hey, nice to meet you." And then like to shake my hand. And I wasn't really I didn't want to say no, but I didn't really want to shake his hand either. But anyway, I shook it. And then he was like, "Are you a Top Gun fan?" And then he started talking to me and stuff. And I was like, I don't want to be mean, but I also didn't want to encourage him either, you know? I was like, uh, I've never seen the first one, but I'm mainly a fan of Top Gun 2. That's why I'm here because I just wanted to see and blah blah blah. Like I didn't shut it down completely, but my answer wasn't enthusiastic enough for him to keep going. I think he was thinking that I was going to be like, "Yeah, do you like Top Gun 2? Let's be best friends. Let's go suck each other's dicks in the parking lots. Top Gun forever. Yeah." But that's not what I did. I think I was just like freaking out. Why is this guy shaking my hand at Top Gun? Like, is this movie so gay that it's just making men just talk to each other that didn't know each other beforehand? But I think what it was is that the theater was like empty aside from the handful of people that were there. And he was just like, he wanted to acknowledge the situation, you know, like this guy is sitting in the same seat as the first one. What am I going to do? Ignore the fact that we're all here sharing this Top Gun experience? Anyway, I guess that goes back to what I was saying at the beginning of that, of the thing of like the community. Even me, I'm guilty of this as well. Is like sometimes I'll just forget about the fact that We all live in a shared space. So when this guy shook my hand, like he was like, "Hey, are you a Top Gun fan?" It was a little jarring at first, I'm not gonna lie. But at the same time, I was also like, I kind of respect it because it's like that's what life is about, you know. It's about the community, looking out for each other. I mean, suppose I had a seizure and I'm on the ground and I'm foaming at the mouth, and no one else was in the theater. I would have died, right? Maybe this Top Gun fan would have noticed if something did happen to me at that screening. You know, we got to look out for each other. I mean, it's not really your responsibility, but at the same time, it kind of, you know, it doesn't hurt. What else? I have a couple more minutes. I have like it's 56 minutes in. You know what? I don't care. I'll talk about some more movies I saw recently. Um Maybe I'll leave my letterboxed profile down at the bottom, okay? I saw Kill List 2011. Good movie. That is a great example of a movie that can be elevated by just sheer force of will by a director making great choices. It's perfectly cast. It looks like a real movie that is better than the movie it currently is. I don't know how to describe it in any other way, but that's a great example of a movie that is just the director's firing on many cylinders. Another movie I saw recently, El Norte, 1983. Very good movie. I would rate it 4.5 out of 5 stars. Um, all right, I think that's about it for now. I saw Is God Is. I would rate that 3 out of 5. I'm just running through the list here of everything I've seen recently. But you know what? I think I've said everything I wanted to say about, you know, the job situation. Things are not looking good. I'm really starting to worry about what things are going to be like in the future. I'm not even exaggerating here. I'm deeply concerned. I'm worried. I'm worried about the future. The weather is getting warmer, so there's that. So I don't know. Maybe I will do another live episode soon. Thank you for the 2 people that nobody joins these things because I don't announce them. I'm not a famous person. You just have to catch it when you catch it. But I mean, it's recorded anyway. But yeah, this was Larry Live, episode 0.5. I think that's it for now, man. I said I would stay with you guys for the one drink, though. I didn't even finish my drink because I was talking the whole time. I mean, I could talk about other movies that I saw recently. I saw End of Days with Arnie. That one wasn't bad. The graphics of 1990s movies are very they're cheesy, but for some reason it's very enjoyable in this movie, End of Days. You know what? I didn't talk about Top Gun 2. I just talked about Top Gun 1 the whole time. And that's not really my thing. My thing is Top Gun 2. I think if you were to compare both movies, Top Gun 1 is kind of shit. In comparison. Top Gun Maverick was like it's like you don't even need to see the first one to really get it. And in fact, the first time I saw it, I hadn't even seen the first one. I just watched Top Gun Maverick. And you can pick up on everything. And you know, I like movies where it's like the passage of time is like a big deal. Excuse me. Jennifer Connelly in the second one, very attractive woman. And the funny thing is she's not even in the first one. I thought that she was like a big deal in the first one because I had never seen it, but in fact, she's only mentioned like in passing, and then they just bring her in the second one as like a main character. But yeah, Tom Cruise, you can't go wrong with Top Gun 2, man. All right, I've hit an hour. I've hit an hour. I talked about many things here. I talked about the economy in Canada. I talked about Top Gun. Talk to me, Goose. What do I do? Do I end the live or do I? All right. I don't know when the next one of these will be, but if you see it, if you happen to see that I'm live, just feel free to join in. You can talk to me on the chat. The biggest thing I talked about today was community. So if you don't take anything away from this, if you only take one thing away from this, take the concept of community, class solidarity. Maybe it's a thing. Who knows? Maybe in the future, people will finally realize that it's a good thing. Okay, that's it. That's it. Just talking a bunch of crap here.